Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to episode 13 of Conversations with StrayKatStyle. Today I'm going to be interviewing the lovely Zoe of Zoe's Vintique. I am so excited to learn more about this wonderful, beautiful, stylish businesswoman. And it looks like she's popped in, so let's go on and have her come on as we're getting things set up, and we'll get some invites in there, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people coming in to join us. Okay, give me just a moment. Hey, good morning, Mary Beth. How are you? Let's give it just a minute. Let's see if it has her pop in.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello,
Thank you
lovely
for having me.
lady. I'm
Yes.
so excited. You don't know how excited I am.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
the
I am
hair.
honored to have this opportunity to come on here with you.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh,
Grateful.
well, it really means the world to me when I reach out to we reach out to different businesswomen, and because you are a businesswoman, I reach out to different businesswomen, and they say yes immediately.
Absolutely.
And I'm totally bowled over because it's really a I'm still I've been doing this for a minute, but I'm still small potato. So it's really awesome when it's so the reception is so wonderful. I
See.
love it. Thank you for the people that are in here right now.
Yes.
We do appreciate it. Let me just give you a quick introduction. I'm Kat of StrayKatStyle, and this is an interview series that first was birthed from on Spotify. You'll find audio versions of fashion history, and that's what I started with. And then I was like, you know what? I want to like reach out to people that have valuable information that can not only tell us about the history of fashion, but also how it pertains to what they're doing today. And then I was noticing that there weren't a lot of women that looked like us that were getting the public eye. And I'm like, you know what? There are so many women that I've met that are just killing it in the resale game, killing it with hair care, skin care, that are in this village of Instagram. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start reaching out to people organically. It just happened where I just started to do this on Instagram. And so it's a really important thing that we show not only the younger girls that are coming up, the younger boys that are coming up, because there are men that are doing this also, and showing them that there are people that are like them. And then this is an opportunity to learn not only about the people that I am sitting down with, but also best business practices, their influences, how it rolls out into the community, all those different things. So that's what StrayKatStyle, the interview series, is about. And I have the lovely Zoe of Zoe's Boutique. Woohoo! I have her with
Oh,
me this morning. I tell you, I saw her the first time I saw Zoe was on Barcodes Live, and she came on, and I think she was wearing a hat that time. That's the first time I saw her, and I was like, who, what? I was like, oh my gosh, she is killing her style. And then with the personality on top of that, I was just like, wow. So I've always like her posts and everything. I've become a big fan, and seeing her interact with people that come into her shop, all of that. I'm just like, this is a really genuine, community-minded, village-minded person, and so she would be an awesome person to interview and learn more about. So I was like really bowled over. So I'm really happy that you're with me. Why don't you go ahead and we're going to have a lot of questions, so they're going to learn about you, but give them a quick like broad stroke of a little bit about yourself.
well, I am a true country girl, guys. I moved to California when I was 17 years old. I was always passionate about fashion because I was raised by my great grandparents. So I used to
Mm-hmm.
play in my grandmother's clothing. And I used to always tell her when I was a kid that one day I was going to have a business selling clothing. And let's just say, you always have that family that you don't know till you get to another state. You know of them, but you don't know them. And
Mm-hmm.
when I moved here to California, my family was already in the retail industry.
Mm-hmm.
So my great aunt and my cousin, they already was established in the retail game. And so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, eventually this is something that I really could do. So that's
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit. I love vintage. I love people. I always say it's important to find your niche. When
Mm-hmm.
you find your niche and your passion, you perfect it. Doesn't matter. Not everybody. I had to, I talk to the young people. Maybe not everybody's meant to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
but when you find what you're good at, you perfect it.
Mm-hmm.
You educate yourself so that
Mm-hmm.
when you go out into this world, you are the best at whatever it is that you are doing.
You know, oh boy, do I agree with that sentiment. And it was like in my kids, it was trial and error. I wanted them to find their passion.
Yeah.
You know, me trying to teach Miles guitar at 5 didn't work. And now he's like a working musician at 17, and he is like killing it. And I knew that about him when he was little, but it took him finding that passion, and he is so dedicated. So it's like really, really, it's really, really, and we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving thing. We're
Yeah.
going to, there's so much to learn about you. So, okay. Usually I would share while you're doing that, but I was too like, I wanted to see your face and hear you. So I might share in a bit. But the first thing that we start to talk about is, because you talked about influence, you talked about your grandmother's closet.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about like how she inspired you. Like, what was it about it?
You
Was because there's fur, there's like, she's got blingy jewelry. What was it that just kind of like, was
grandma,
she
it
your
was,
chief influence as
it
far
was
as fashion
grandmother's
goes?
suits and hats. When grandma go to church, they are
Mm-hmm.
going to church. So grandmother
Yeah.
always had a fancy wig with a fancy hat, always suited and booted. I had these curly curls with this cute little tulle dress. But grandmother, and I love the gloves. Whenever we
Mm-hmm.
know we was going to church, grandmother was going to show up and show out. Or whenever there was an outing, we already know, like, okay, I'm going to wait to see what grandma's going to put on. And just watching, her make clothing, you know, that
Oh,
was something like, wow. My grandmother was I was actually raised by my great grandmother. So I had the opportunity that a lot of people don't have, to be raised by my great grandma. Me and my mother was actually 14 years apart. So my great grandparents raised me.
wow. So, yeah, because that's definitely the history that they're able to like bestow onto
Yes.
you. And so then were they, because your personality seems very, like, you seem very settled into your personality and who you are as a person. Were they instrumental in like establishing that, as far as like empowering you as a
You
young
know,
black girl, just
what's
the
so
possibility?
beautiful is that each of my uncles and aunts, they were all entrepreneurs. They were entrepreneurs. They were, like my great aunt, she had her own club. My grandmother, my family actually owned acres of land. We
Hmm.
left Louisiana and moved to this little town because my grandparents and them had all these acres of land. So,
Wow.
you know, being able to see, like, okay, and hearing their stories, my grandfather actually looked just like a white man.
Uh-huh.
Exactly like and everybody used to be like, I was like, that's my grandpa. Yeah, that's my pop, but my pawpaw looked exactly like a Caucasian man, you know, and going into learning his history, I understand why, because his father was a Caucasian man.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because you do the whole like the like family tree, all those
Yeah,
services that offer like what you're
yeah,
mixed with and all of that. And there is an empowerment to say that you are a black woman, a black man, and like but everybody's got a little something in there.
oh, absolutely,
Everybody's got a little something in there. And going
everybody.
to school, learning about like African American history, and learning like how it spread, and some of these places that they're super super liberal today still had their footprint in the slave trade and did horrific things that are never talked about. There are places that are like that. And so it's like, you learn all of this, and like what goes into like where your nose comes from, where your chin comes from, all of those things that blend in. So it's really important to kind of like know your history.
Yes.
And so, all right, so they owned a lot of land. That's pretty, because people talk about now, they talk about generational wealth, and leaving something for the next generation. And that's why I hustle like I do, because I want something for my kids. And I don't want them to, like, if something happens, that they'll have a little bit of a cushion. I want to have that for my kids. So is that something that was like kind of like in the mindset of your family? We got to like.
And I say, you know, I love growing up with my grandparents, because also I used to always see every month the insurance man would come to my grandmother's house, because she had insurance on everyone. And she used to always say, baby, these are certain things you need to make sure you have when you become an adult. And I always kept that in the back of my mind. But I was always determined. I can say with the grace of God, all the things that I said I've wanted to do, so far I've done. I left corporate America when I was like 20-something years old. And I was determined to do what I had passion for. Because again, when you're in corporate America, you're really another number that can easily be replaced. Doesn't matter how many degrees you have or how much they like you. If it's going to be beneficial for them, you're going to be one of those that's going to be eliminated. When it comes to a merger or acquisition, you already know some of these companies are already established. When they go and do a merger with another company, all they want is the accounts. They don't want the employees. So what happens? Within a year, they're going to close that office. You're going to get laid off. You're going to have to go looking. So I took a chance on myself. I had been collecting, and here I am.
Well, you know, and learning in the Black community, because there's definitely a I don't want to know if there's like, it's not taboo, but where it's like taking care of our health, taking care of our mental health, physical health, mental health, and insurance and things like that, where it kind of like falls by the wayside because it's not emphasized enough. And then you hear about the stories of like the Rockefellers and all that, and how part of their generational wealth was from insurance.
Yes.
So they would pass away, somebody would pass away, they would have a serious insurance policy, and that wealth went to the next generation. So that's something that we don't, you know, it just really isn't talked about. It isn't really. So I think that's interesting that your family was like, they had that mindset and that foresight to be able to do that.
We live for today. You know, it is a taboo, just like it's a taboo growing up as an African American. We never wanted to talk about having hand-me-downs. That was a hush-hush. But so many of us, our grandparents or our parents didn't have the resources. So you had to have your cousin's clothes, or you went to the garage sales. But now you're looking at $1 billion industry that we were ashamed to talk about.
Yep. I agree. And I'm just like, because the thing about it is like, you know, and I share the story, how I got into really, really appreciating, because I always still like going thrift stores and stuff like that. But part of that came into from being very poor, you know, so it's just like, you know, running out of money after the second week of the month, money's gone, you know, things like that. And having like in school, having where, you know, you do the gift exchange and being like, what, you know, where you know, you're not going to have a present for Christmas, but you don't want to be, you're in high school and you don't want to have that hindrance to you. And I went to a thrift store and I spent $2. I begged my mom, I said, Mom, I got to do this. You know, I spent $2 and I got her this like 2-piece shirt. It was like a cream color. And I remember it, and it has like a subtle paisley, tone to like design to it, and it was a crop tank top and a tie shirt, and I got that for her, and that girl wore that thing once a week. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, she loved it. And it was just like, it was not like how they appreciate, you got to go to the mall, you got to get you know, the lady. She was like, and she dug the fact that it was one of a kind. Nobody was rocking it. She was rocking it. Nobody was rocking it. And she was just like, Kathy, because I went by Kathy then. Kathy, oh my God. She's like, she's like, you don't know how much I love this. And that was a aha moment for me. You know, that was an aha moment for me. And it's like, you know, keeping up with the Joneses in regard to fashion, I was no longer going to do that. I was going to, you know, I was called the Black Madonna. You know, because I was like retro fashion and all my brights and like all that. I was doing that. And it was just like, that was, you know, but that was the clicker for me. You know, it's like, you know, I'm going to be a cheerleader, but I'm going to dress the way that I want to dress. And that's always been my vibe after that. But it took that aha moment and being like, I can't like I can't do that anymore because first of all, I don't have the capability. Okay, so there's so much that you talk about while you're saying all these nuggets, and I'm like trying to remember. I'm just like, oh my god. So I got to ask you about this. Okay, so all right, so your family. I want to go to because I know that your grandmother and growing up with your great grandmother and all of that, that was very, very essential. So how did that play along to? Because you mentioned corporate America. So give me a quick little
So
rundown of life. And I know it's not quick. I know it's not quick because there's so much to talk about. And I want to hit all these areas. But when you were like, you're finding yourself like in middle school, high school, all of that, and then you go into corporate America. Tell me how that kind of like, how that happened and like what was your, because you know, it might not have been in fashion with corporate America. So tell me about that.
America, it was not fashion. I had an opportunity, and I tell anybody, I thank God that I work in the banking industry.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually working in the brokerage industry. I did that for 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in that time, I had an opportunity to travel the world, go to New York, you know, and I would always go and buy. I just always loved different pieces. I was always different. And I can honestly say when I worked in corporate America, I felt like, oh, I needed to fit in with the Joneses, have the high end purses, where I have tons of purses at my house that I hardly ever use. I thought I needed to have Gucci. As soon as it walked out the door, it depreciated. So I really didn't need all those things. I spent thousands of dollars on things that I never really used just to say I had it. Because I thought, because I didn't have it as a child, I can have it now as an adult. But then when I got it, it was nothing. Just to say, oh, I got a Gucci bag or I got a Louis Vuitton belt. It was nothing. You know, and I had to realize, like, why am I spending all this money? No. So then I left it alone. I stopped, and then I would just, every time I would see vintage pieces that were unique, I knew I couldn't wear them because I was I've always been this curvy woman. I was small, but I was like, I'm just going to buy this. I don't know, maybe one day I'll be able to wear it. No one in some other world, but it was never going to happen. And my friends used to come and be like, oh my God, look at your collection. I actually had a boutique in my house. I started selling clothes from my house.
So then how did you when did you decide to do that? Like, how did that come about? Like,
so that
tell me about that.
When I just started collecting, and my friends was like, damn, girl, you're good at that. And okay, don't worry about it. I know what I'm going to do. I would go, I had me some racks, some little areas, and I set up a boutique in the store, in the house. And my friends would come, or someone would call me and say, hey, I got something going on. What do you have? And then I had vintage and contemporary, but I had so many different unique pieces. And I mean, like, even the Louis Vuitton bags, my friends were like, you know, I had some back then. Oh yeah, I look at some of the photos of some of the things that I had. I was like, oh my God, some of these things I shouldn't have never sold. But yeah,
I know there's a few things I'm like, because I want to get that burgundy maxi coat that I had. I don't know what I was thinking. Bike on Trade just killed it, man. It made me
so started from my house, and then I already knew when the company was bought out. I was working for Dreyfus Brokerage Services. They were bought out by E-Trade. E-Trade strictly was online. I was like, you know what? They're not going to keep us. So my boss was like, are you going to fill out this application to go? I was like, no, I'm just going to give you guys this 2 weeks notice. They was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to give you this 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to take a risk on myself. Took a risk on myself.
Yes, baby.
I had the ability to go and travel. I still was investing in stocks. I tell anybody, listen, if you got a little money, invest. I mean, it is legalized gambling, but we take a risk every day. If you
we've got some stocks too.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about that enough either. That's another thing in the Black community.
And that's what I'd love to see now, this new generation. Because when I started, I can count how many African Americans that I would actually see in these meetings, in these offices. There was very limited. So it's amazing to see the new generation that is out here now that are determined to get their feet in all these doors. They're kicking doors open for themselves and being, But yes, that opportunity, and I started doing the flea markets.
Mm-hmm.
I started, one of the flea markets I would do was Melrose Trading Post, which a very popular flea market here. It's on Melrose, and that was a flea market.
You know, I lived on the next block from there.
Oh wow!
On top of Decades,
Yes,
you know
yes,
Decades?
yes, yes.
I lived on top of
Oh
Decades. Yeah.
wow!
Yes,
Yes.
for a minute.
Now, honey,
Yes.
that's gems right there, baby.
Oh.
Yes. Let's look. That's what you're talking. That's the level that when I
Oh.
think about vintage, I think about decade, the way we were. You know, I mean, there are so many amazing vintage stores here. But I'm like, I can fit right in with them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the few African American stores that actually have true vintage. I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when we're talking about 1920s, 30s, 40s,
Yeah.
you know, I when the people come through the door and they go up to the upper room, they're like, okay. And then they always want to know, well, where do you get your stuff from? You know, and I'm like, well, if I tell you, you know, or I used to have, when I had my first store, I used to get women, they would all be like, can we go into your storage? I'm like, no, you cannot, but you know, I can bring you some
Well,
stuff here.
girl, that's a new service. If somebody's like, "Where'd you get your stuff?" Say, "You know what? I can do it. We can go on a tour
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
charge them to
But
do that."
when I first started, it was just, it was so exciting because my first store, I used to pass and look through the window and say I was going to get this place. Every day when I would go to the store, I would look through the window, and the lady had been there for over 20 years. And I used
Uh-huh.
to say, this is going to be my store. And when I tell you, with the grace of God, 2 weeks later, that store was available. It didn't even have a for rent sign. I went next door to the guy. I was like, hey, can I get the number to the owner? He was like, yeah. I called him on Tuesday. I got that store on Friday.
Oh my gosh. So,
And
and that was in LA also?
yeah, that was,
That store?
yeah, my first store was actually in the West Adams community. My current store is in the Mid-City community, where I am still in the community where I live. So both of my stores were blocks away from each other.
So yeah, because I know that whole area. Girl,
Yeah, I was on, my first store was
oh,
on,
girl, I'm like miles getting this college in LA
yeah,
because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there
yeah.
like buggy.
Where I'm at now, I'm
Gyms.
on Redondo and Pico. My old
Yeah,
store was on Adams and Burnside.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm tripping because you know what's the wild thing is you've always looked familiar to me, and I have a thing about places. I'll see somebody just like a walk
Uh-huh.
by me, or I'll see someone, and you've always looked familiar to
Yeah.
me. I know that our paths have crossed. I don't know where it was, but I know that
Yeah.
before I met Josh, like I was like in that area. But okay, so all right, we talked about corporate America, we talked about the store because there's a really important, and that's a really important reason for these conversations is that we have resellers probably on here that are younger that are kind of like, what do they want to do and what vision do they have for themselves? And not everybody's a brick and mortar person, but if there are, you are a good template for them to kind of tackle and do like the kind of thing that will become a career, actually make this a career they're living, you know, not side hustle, but
Yes.
their career that they're doing that they love. You know, there's those key steps. So then let's talk about, I usually don't talk about it this early, but let's talk about best business practices when you want to be able to like, okay, so this is what you see for yourself, you know, whether or not some people rent out, you know, they rent out a small space. Some people do storage sheds and they like storage, sorry, not sheds, but storage. Some people do like brick and mortar stores. What is a good business
So
practice for somebody that's just
first thing
starting
I
out?
tell someone is, if you're not ready for a brick and mortar, because that is a whole nother ball game. We're talking about, I would tell anyone, create your business plan, write it
Mhm.
out. You know, what is your ultimate goal? Is this your career, or this is something you're just doing to bypass, or this is something you want to do longevity?
Mhm.
Have a business.
Mhm. Uh-oh. Uh,
Also, what I tell anyone, start off, if you can go and rent a space in the flea market.
mhm.
There are flea markets that will allow you to have a space for a whole month. just so you can get your feet wet, or go out, do some events. So, because interacting here is totally different than interacting with people face to face. You have to be a people person. You have to understand that you got to give them the best service, because once you give them the best service, they're going to continue to support you, and word of mouth will go a long
I was
way.
just going to say that.
And when I
Yes.
tell you, when my first store, it was strictly word of mouth. Not, because I was on a busy street, but you could not see me because we had a big old tree. But word of mouth, honey, will go a long way.
They're like, you got to go to this little vintage shop. You want to
Yeah.
know what's there because it's
Yes.
blocked by a
I'm
tree.
telling you.
It's blocked
Yep.
by a tree. You pass it, and people didn't, GPS and all that stuff. But I'm a very visual person, so I would just be like,
Let me
there's
tell
a
you.
pink stripe
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
overhang, and then you go see a big tree. It's behind that tree. You got to find it. You don't want to drive past it. And that's amazing that was so instrumental
Yeah. Yeah.
in like that journey
Yeah.
part, the part of that journey.
But and also appreciating this is something that you really want to do, and find out what is it that you really want to do. When I say that, some people say I'm truly into vintage. Some people say, oh, I'm a thrifter. What type of reseller are you? Who is your audience? Who are you trying to cater to? What is your age range? Are you trying to cater from 18 to 70? Who are you trying to cater to? That is something so important, because when you know your audience and your customers, you will know what you need to go out there searching for. I have one of my main honey buns on here, Karen Beaches. She is one of the best drag king queens here in the California. I love her. I know what Karen wants. When Karen comes through that door, Karen met me actually during COVID. She just happened to pass and stopped in the middle of the street, parked her car in the middle of the street, and came over here. And we've been connected on the hip since. And you can
Aww.
believe so many pieces. She will also tag me and show love. And that's important. And to me, I don't need you to tag me, but I appreciate you let them know, like, hey, this is where I got it from. She may not have the exact same thing, but here it is. And during COVID, I painted my store pink. I had nothing but time. So I'm like, well, Lord, what am I going to do? We're pretty much closed. The world is closed. I'm selling on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm painting my store pink. And when I tell you the pink building has been magical, it's been magical. I had Betsy Johnson up in here. Shit, okay. Magical. So,
Yeah. Oh man, that is just talk about a meant to be thing. And I definitely agree with the whole tagging. And because you see my fits, I always tag my
yeah.
people. Whoever I bought from, even if I'm tagging you, I'm wearing something of yours every day, one little thing of yours every day, I'm tagging. I think it's really, really important to it gives people a sense of buyer confidence when you tag someone and you show the love for it. Because I've even tagged people that I wasn't too happy, but
Right.
you know what? Everything's like kind of a growing. There's a learning curve, and I'm just gonna be like, everybody. There's mistakes I'm making. I make mistakes, So it's just really important to just always show the love for your village, because hopefully it comes around to you, and most of the time it does come around to you. So I will always tag people. And I think that that's really, really important. So okay, so I'm loving the whole So how did you? Because you mentioned Facebook. We're fast forwarding a little bit, but you mentioned Facebook and selling on Facebook. So how did that happen? Were you doing that before COVID, or was it like you networked and then someone told you go on Facebook?
Before COVID, occasionally I would go on there. If you guys could tell, I'm a people person, so I love to talk. So occasionally I would go on there and do live sales, just sometime, show some stuff. But I've always been a part of these groups, Thrifting Atlanta, Thrifting Divas. I've been with these ladies for probably about maybe over 13 years. They had created these groups. So during COVID, these women decided, hey, You have nothing but time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's now allow these women to go shopping on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
You pay them a fee. You go on for an hour. You could sell as much as you want in that 1 hour. And baby, when I tell you it was magical, it was.
Well, because
It was.
people those groups keep coming, they keep coming to me.
Yeah, well, you need to
And I said, Josh, it may be turn because I have a goal, and we're I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad, but I'm definitely like I wanna like I went from going live 10 hours a day, so now I'm 6, and I want to get down to like 3 or 4 hours a day. And so if something like that enables me to do that and still meet my goals and like shift my goals up, then I'm going to do that. And I think that that's something that people should definitely consider. Sometimes it's hard to think, to pay a fee, but there's no harm in trying it. There's no harm in trying it and seeing what becomes of it. But I want to know though, because you mentioned Facebook Live, you've been selling on there, but I want to know like how
well,
did you
so
start initially
so
selling on Facebook?
initially, I would just occasionally like to go on and, if you notice, I'm a true believer in supporting. So if someone
Mm-hmm.
comes in my store and say, hey, I do blah, 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 I am going to go live with you and talk about you and tell the world, hey, go check out this person. So
Mm-hmm.
just randomly, I would just go live and just be like, hey, I got this. If you want it, you can cash at me or PayPal. And then they came with this idea. Now, what I love about Facebook is that you can buy a bot. This is a virtual assistant,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of these groups have, where
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be stressed out to try to find these people because they're going to have their email. They're going to let you know who bought something. All you have to do is send them an invoice. Or if you have some of the services where you don't even have to do that, it will automatically go to their message in a cart, and all they got to do is just pay you and you just ship it out.
Oh, now see, I didn't know that. I
Oh
didn't know
yeah,
that. See, that's
that's
interesting.
what's
That's
great
interesting.
about Facebook. Now, Instagram has that service, but you have to pay a commission and you have to pay them monthly. They're a little bored, but I will say that a loyalty shop on Facebook, they're very reasonable. You can buy a bot from them for like $9.99. They have different programs that they can offer to you. If you want to go and sell on Facebook, you should. You should build you a community because you got
Mm-hmm.
lots of gyms. You can even build your own community where people can go there. You will have a bot where automatically everything that you do will be on a computer for you, and you don't even have to worry
Mm-hmm.
yourself. All you got to do is have someone boom, 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 ship it out.
Hey, I act like I do it all by myself, but I'm gonna talk to Josh about it because
Yeah,
we are a husband and
yeah.
wife team, and that's kind of
Oh,
this is what we want to do. Or like just this is what we want to
okay.
do, nothing else.
Yeah, you.
And so we discuss everything together. But I really like it's just seeming like it's a like I should be really exploring
Go
this.
and visit. Like even if you want, I would tell you go and try Thrifting Atlanta.
That's
She
the
has through
first one someone told
So
me. Yep.
Thrifting
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta has where you can do 30 minutes for $39.99. That's if you
Mm-hmm.
had your own bot. But if you want to use theirs, it's $49.99.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about it. You got a whole hour. Huh? 1 second, 1 second.
Now she got to go say hi to somebody. She got to. They coming in to show some Zoe love. They showing Zoe love. That was going to happen. She'll be back in just a second. This is. Oh man, this is so wonderful. I'm really enjoying the sit down.
Yeah.
Zoe is she is definitely a well of knowledge. So it's amazing,
And
amazing, amazing. And I'm loving the earrings, by
look
the
what
way.
Mom and them was talking about. Full of fashion, honey. I love it. I'm sorry, guys. I had to open up the door.
Yeah.
Door. But I'm gonna tell you, upstairs is where you want to start, and then you're gonna come on down with me, and then I love this. This is what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? When someone walks through my door, it's like you're a part of me because you took the time. You could have went many places, but you
Mm-hmm.
decided to. And you could cut on the light right at the door, babe. Yes, right at the door is the light, so you could take yes, ma'am. So that's what you, because I'm also a consumer. And if I
Mm-hmm.
go somewhere, I want them to be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know,
Yeah.
when I walk sometime in the morning and nobody want to say good morning, I say good morning. God damn it, excuse my French, but you want to say good morning. You
I know,
woke
because
up
I'm a
this
big
morning,
smiler. I'm a big
right?
smiler, not, you know,
Yes,
I'm like that. And so,
yes,
yeah, so Josh, man, you know, they just looked at me like I was
yes.
crazy.
Like,
Like,
you're gonna say good
saying
morning.
good morning. You know, it's like, what?
Yes, you woke up this morning. You better be saying good morning with a smile on your face. I'm loving that hat, though. I need to talk about that. I need that.
Yeah, yeah, that's STC Gets Fit. She hand crochets these. This one and the other one I have that's crocheted.
Send me
Yeah,
that.
she does a brim one too. She does. You just say, I want this style. She sent me all these different, like,
Okay.
I know I'm
Send
about to
me
get
her
some
information.
more of them.
I
I'm
need
gonna
that.
send.
I need that.
I know it's bright, huh? Matching my dress.
Yes, I need that. Yes.
So okay, because I do have more questions for you. I know that you're open.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're like, Kat, I got to get off in 5 minutes. You let me know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Will finish it up. But I want you to, while I share, I want you to quickly tell me what you're like, because you said you're collecting pieces and what you put in your store, and you said know your customer. Tell me what that customer looks like. You know, it could be varied, but you know, it could be this. You know, if you've got three different variations of customers that you like tend to have that are your bread and butter, or
I
that you
have so
do that
many.
for me. I'm going to share while you're
I
doing that.
have so many. I love to let someone walk through the door, and I like to read them. I like to fill them out. I like to see what they're picking. Then when you see, you're like, okay, I see what type of customer she is. Let me go and pull some items out for you. And mostly, I'm right on the money. Like, I already see her style. When she walked through the door, she came in with some cute tennis shoes, a cute pencil skirt, cute little,
Mm-hmm.
very fashionable. So I'm like, okay, I could see I got a Stella McCarthy. I got, let me pull out. But she's small. So being a petite woman, you can find so many amazing vintage pieces, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But when you are a curvy woman, when you find those pieces, that's why some of these items I do not let go, because I may not never find them again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not a size 2. Only when I'm sleeping I am, but not when I'm up and walking. I'm nowhere near that. Okay? So even though I go and pick these fabulous pieces, I can't wear them. But I love to see somebody in them.
So, because
Hold on one second. Let me
okay,
close this door.
okay. I had to share. I didn't share yet, so I wanted to share. So you guys, excuse me for doing that. But because when she comes back on the
Yes.
screen, because literally when you
Listen.
did those sequin bibs, I saw that sequin bib one, the one especially that has a little curve, like almost
Yes.
scallop, and this black. I think it's really dark. My eyes like popped out of my head. I was like, oh my god, those bibs. Oh my
Yes.
god, they're big. They're bibs. They're shawls. They're like,
Yes. Yes.
oh my gosh, they are
And I've
so
heard
amazing.
people find you pieces that you can use multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, miga, no más. No, miga, but thank you. Gracias. Um, find you pieces that you can use, different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a great piece. If you're a small person, honey, you can go and put that on with a cute little black bra, honey, a high waist skirt, some high waist bell bottoms, honey, and go about your waist. If you want, you can put that over a great blazer. So
I
it's,
know, basic blazer and up it. That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
You keep reading my mind. What's up with that? You keep saying right what I'm about to say, and I'm just like,
yes,
what?
yes, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So, let's talk about, because I saw this is going to a comment that was
Mm-hmm.
earlier about the whole Thanksgiving the
Yeah.
Thanksgiving drive. Let's tell, because and I want that to roll into what you see as far as like your community and the like being part. I don't know if you're
I
part of this.
love that jacket. Yes, that is you. Yes. So
Part of
I,
SBA, or, like I encourage, like whether or not you're part of that, how you see that as far as like community building,
I'm
all that
I'm a
and along
true
with it.
believer that God blesses us to be able to bless others.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a business in a community, it's not always about self.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rack outside that I leave. It's my sell rack. But if someone comes here and needs some clothes, you can take whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you want some clothes in here and you need it, I'm going to give it to you. It's only material things.
I saw you do that live. I saw you do that
I
live.
am we never know time, day, or hour where we may be in a situation and we need someone to help us.
Mm-hmm.
So every Thanksgiving I decided, you know what? I'm gonna feed those in need in need on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to be thankful. It's a day to be
Mm-hmm.
thankful. Why
Mm-hmm.
can't I feed those that are less fortunate on Thanksgiving? And every year people expect it and wait. They're like, are you going to do it again this year? Absolutely. And, I ask people to donate if you want to, but even if they don't, I'm going to make sure they have the best Thanksgiving meal on that day. Just doesn't even,
Do you do it? Do you do it with another organization, or
no,
do you do
this
it
is
in your shop?
me. This is just
In your
me
shop, in your house?
in front of my
Where do you
store.
like? In
In
front of your
front of
store?
my
Oh,
store. This
okay.
is in
In
front of
front of
my
your store.
store. I get rent tables, and what I love about me now sharing it more people get involved. Like, my neighbors, they're like, oh, we want to participate, we want to help. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, I tell people, you if you open up a business, you have to do your part. You have to give back.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't see you doing your part, what's the purpose of you being here? Just to say you have a business? You have
Yeah.
to take care of I'm sorry, I don't want to say what my grandmother used to always say, but you need to where you lay. So where
Mm-hmm.
your business is, you need to be able to take care of these people too. And that's
Well, I think that that's a kind of like, I wouldn't say passive, but that's a part of, and it's organically networking,
yeah.
because when you do positive things for your community, it's a ripple, it's a little ripple.
It's so funny. I had bought a necklace from a woman downtown, and she just happened to come into my store, and she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh my God, it's you!" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "I stopped by one day and gave you money because I saw you feeding them on Thanksgiving." She was like, "I never knew it was you." I was like, "Yeah, it's me." But yeah, so it's a beautiful feeling. I love it. I love giving away stuff. It's just, God has been so good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been a selfish person. I've
Mm-hmm.
never had that idea. That's why when I come on here and I drop the gems, of course, people are like, girl, you could go and create an ebook. Why? Because God is going to eventually bless me no matter what. I may not know it all, but I know enough to be able to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
We all can eat on the same table. We all can fellowship and congregate together. You're never
Mm-hmm.
too old and never too young to learn from each other. This
Mm-hmm.
here industry is a billion dollar industry. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important that you educate yourself. You listen to what people are telling you, because it's not trying to hurt you, it's trying to help you. You
Yes.
know, I don't
Yeah,
have this
like
big old
99% of
head.
the time. Of course there's going to be people that come at you.
I
It's
don't
just
have
going to
I
happen.
don't
But you just like let it. I'm just like, you know what? I might fret about it overnight, and then I'm just like, you know what? I know who I am to my core. I know what my vision for my life is. I know what I want to put out there. I know that I'm not, I am like, I wear my emotions. Like, I can't be passive with my emotions because you read it on my face.
yeah.
You read it. So it's like, it's very, like, I just have to just let them go and just keep doing my thing. And it's like, not everybody's going to love me. And it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's going to love me, but you know what? I'm still going to keep doing
Yeah.
me. And I think it's really important because I see you doing you. And it's almost like you like, you have that
Are you
aunt that
okay
like,
in
cause
there,
it's
baby?
my,
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
for me, it was my auntie Charlene.
Yes.
And I tell you, she's the one that you want just by her presence, her style and her presence and everything just made you want to just like be around her and kind of like bask in that little bit of
Yes.
like radiant sunbeams that are just raining down. You just want to be part of. And you've always seemed like that type of person. And like, just the more I like watch your lives, it just seems like, it's like there's a consistent thing.
Yeah.
And I say when people try to, if they start to say I'm putting on a front, I'm like, I've been putting it on for too long. I'm an actress, but I can't be an actress for that long. I just can't.
Yeah.
So you show your consistency of being the true person that you are. It shows. It shows. And if people are paying attention, they see it. They see it, right? So then do you have somebody that's like, that is like their style, that is like, I'm not going to say famous, but someone else in your community that right now that you feel like their style right now is just like, it is so on par and it represents women like us that shines.
I tell you, there are a few women that I love and admire in this industry. And I met a young lady. Her name is Lorna. She is the owner of Black Pine Boutique. And she reached out to me because, as you guys know, I do Thrift Con. And she shadowed me. She came, met me, and she is a phenomenal young woman that actually found her niche with this. She's a curvy woman, and she took it and ran with it, and I admire that, finding someone that's like, hey, can I shadow you? Or can I get some advice from you? And you're like, okay, let's uplift each other so we can both learn from each other. But I love Lorna. She's a phenomenal. She has some great pieces. She's got a great eye. I gotta always give a huge shout out to Barcode, because trust me, so many of these women that I have met. Yes, ma'am, Sugar. Good morning, Sugar. How you doing, Sugar Foot? You all right?
Now see, that's what I'm talking about.
Hold on, Sugar. You coming to see me, Sugar? I got something for you. You want to give me some of that change? Huh? Wait, hold on. I got something for you.
She is talking about Barcode LA. That's what she's talking about right now.
Let me check. Hold on. Okay, so I am talking about Barcode, Georgia of Barcode 101. I will say I am very honored to have had that opportunity to go on her platform. I have met so many amazing women. Whenever I do these shows, we have actually met in person. When some of these people actually come to California, they actually come to my store. And so I thank her for that. What I am a true believer, like I said, we all can sit at the same table. There is enough for everyone. It's all about the mindset. It's all about you. If you.
Because I heard. I heard because there's a comment about both of you have beautiful singing voices. Because I break out in song in a minute. But, so you must be singing too. You must be breaking out.
I have to say, I have watched you, and I've been wondering, like, how did this woman do this so much? Like, you are one of the hardest working women I know on social media. I mean, honey, you are on there. I'm like, damn. In the nighttime, I go on there, you on there. In the morning time, you, girl, let me tell you, whatever it is that you got, I need it. Because you be on here. You are determined. You're like, hello, I don't give a damn if there's one or two of y'all on here. I'm on here. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, baby, I watch you. I see you. I'm like, Kat, this woman is up here at 12 o'clock at night selling some jewelry. Yes. If I wake up, I'm always looking and lurking and doing something. I'm like, she's on. Baby, I need that energy.
Well, I'm vegan. I take vitamins. I'm like 99.9% vegan, and I take vitamins. And this has been my personality. They call me Smiley. It's been my personality since I was young. And I just this is my job. This is my hustle. This is my job. And I do this part because it helps that I love it.
Yeah.
But, I have a child in college. I have my son that's about to go to college next year, but his academy is expensive. So there's that. And then there's goals, and we don't want to bite into our savings. So I hustle to do these things to be able to, like, have you know, we're renting a place that's furnished. Like there's all these things that go into my cost, my overhead. And so I do these things to do that. But then also because, you know, I tell you, I could be having like a day when I'm just like, you know what, do I want to go live?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to go live?
Mm-hmm.
But once I get on there, Josh is like, he hears me and he's just like, girl, you don't pretend. You have too much fun. You know, I do love it. And so I'm going to start going live less. But I do what, you know, it is part of my my whole like vision. Like I want to be able to do this. Like our ideal is to, once Miles is in college, is to be like partially in California if he gets to California, you know, California school, and you know, traveling around. And I'm going to do lives wherever we are. So I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to have a screen, like I've already have a vision for it, a screen. And I want to do that. I love doing this, and I would like to do this for years and years and years. It keeps your mind, this is something that keeps your mind focused and strong, like researching, finding, doing all of this. It's very active. It's like, oh, this is a really like a profession that is not sedentary for most people. It's not sedentary. So it's like, it really helps. So I really appreciate you saying that. And I like, it's really wild because I don't notice that people notice what I'm doing, but I guess that people notice what I'm doing.
Oh, baby, we notice what you're doing.
So, you know, I think that, you know, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Look at her little hat. So cute. So I know, because I know you have your business, so I don't want to keep you for too much longer. But I want to, I want people to be able to ask you questions. So can we do just like 5 minutes of like people asking questions? Okay.
Before I want to also shout out another phenomenal young lady, and I've only met her for a couple of months, but just to know that this young lady and her family, Jocelyn, she has a mobile boutique in Chicago, and she has a warehouse. You hear me? A warehouse in Chicago. Shop TTF, and very knowledgeable. It is so refreshing when you can actually have these conversations with other women of color and talk about vintage and understand it and appreciate it, you know. So I have to give her a shout out. I love having these. I like she said, I got her out of her because she would never go live. I was like, girl, you better come on here. So,
and I said, I'm like, if you want me to go with you, if you want to come on live with you, because some people charge, you know, some people are charging to go live with them. I know, you know, I will never do that. I'm saying it now, I will never do that. So, you know, I'm like, come live with me, I will never do that. People have asked me, how much do you charge? And I never charge. I'm sorry?
I said, I'm going to start charging $1. They can send me a vegan burger. I don't charge. Yeah, that's like I said. Why?
It's like,
you know,
there's other ways to do it. I'm like, you know, we've thought about that because we literally have we have our huge like second living area that's full of racks. Like it's full of racks of clothes and stuff. And then we have like a room that has it. And then now we have a third room. I have a lot. When I say I have like 5,000-6,000 items, I do. That's why I'm trying to like wholesale, because I'm like, if you need jeans, I got every spit of Levi's. I got vintage Wranglers, all of these things. I'm like, come and hit me up because I'll do a $60 box and you'll have like 12 pairs of Wranglers that you can resell.
There's another lady that I know. Her name is Boom Boom Bonnie. She's on Facebook. That's why I'm saying you should build you a Facebook group and go on there, because Bonnie has a house in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Her house is
I used to live in San Bernardino.
Yeah. It's full of vintage. And people go there and buy wholesale from her. So you should go on Facebook, check out Boom Boom Bonnie, and think about maybe doing those things. I don't know where she advertises, but those people go over there. They go over there, honey, and they go and get the goodies.
Okay, I really need to think about that, because we're trying to roll all of our Poshmark and all of that into like our lives, and still I've been collecting because I can't help it. Because I just like see gems and I'm like, oh, you know, somebody needs this. So, okay, so I saw that, so that's really good. I'm going to have to listen to this because I'm not taking notes, but I'm going to have to like watch it and do it so that I have it. Send me all the info in a message. But somebody asked, because we've talked about, Josh and I have talked about setting up a boutique, like where you come in and it's like I pull the stuff for you. You come and you shop from the boutique and do that, like with the mirror, you try it on, you just do all of that, and it's just like a one-stop shop. We reached out to Airbnb to do that whole like driving around, doing all of that, the driving around and having scheduled appointments, but they never responded to us. But anyway, so we're just moving on. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely like consider that. Now, you guys, we're gonna give 5 minutes because she's busy and she's got people there. Look, she carrying around stuff. Oh my Lord. Okay, so I probably should have done this earlier. I'm sorry. So, so earlier in the day, but you guys, we're opening up this for 5 minutes. We are doing the questions. If you have questions for Zoe, please, please, please. I'm going to bring my computer up so that I don't miss any. I know that they were saying, where do you get the singing voices? I have family members, like, you know, in church, Baptist. Everybody's singing in church. You know, the instrumentation, I just decided to just do that, you know, because I was singing and I just like, you know, but I grew up in the church and I used to, for me, I'll let Zoe tell you, but for me, I used to watch old movies and I would like go in my room and I like act out scenes and make myself cry and then I'd sing songs from there. And so I would just do that, like musicals and all that stuff, and I would just sing in my room. And that was just how I got, and then in church, they were like, the choir director was like, who is that? And then I was like, because I was really shy then, believe it or not. And I was just like, they were like, it's Kathy. So she's like, you singing a solo. And so then I started doing that. And then I just, you know, it's just been something that I do. And I do it for different ranges and I do operatic and I just, you know, gospel, all of that. And, you know, we listened to Mahalia and all the classics. And, you know, I just go around and I would sing those things. And it's just like, you know, not everybody in my family can sing. Some was like, okay. But they will sing. They will sing like nobody's listening. And they will, you know, it's just a love of music. And, so I love every different genre. You know, I'll do Stan Getz. You know, I'll do Mahalia. I'll do Aretha. I'll do anything. You know, rock and roll, Jimi Hendrix, all of that.
Yes.
I just love it.
So
I have bands backing me. I did a throwback, y'all, in my throwback, Milk and Honey. That was like that was an all-girl band that we had in California. We played at Irvine. We did their festival with all those big names and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
What about you? What you're singing?
Growing up, I loved to sing, always. I actually used to have my own little opera. I used to have ghetto opera growing up as a child. So I used to sing opera. I would create this play, and my grandmother was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm having a ghetto opera. And that's what it was. And I would, you know, she was like, okay.
They're so similar.
Yeah.
So similar. Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I just want to charge people. They're like, you can't charge us.
Like,
can't charge people.
Me so. Yeah.
Yes.
My grandmother used to sit and yes.
She would be like, can you make Kathy shut up? Can you make her shut up? Like,
I mean, I tell
and making up songs.
I had a ghetto opera growing up as a kid, and my grandmother used to be like, really? You're gonna? I was like, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I love that. I used to, you know, in church they did one of my plays that I wrote. I like, you know, I have this, and I used to do that, and it's really wild because it's like so, like, you know, oh my gosh.
Funny.
I love it.
I was born and raised Catholic. So, you know, in the Catholic church, they would have these hymns and they would come together. And I was like, that ain't what I think I want to do. So I would go back and I would do that with the opera. And my grandmother was like, okay. But yeah, I had ghetto opera. And singing was my first love. When I came to California, I thought I was going to be a star. And I chose my life over that industry. And I chose not to sell my soul. I had some amazing opportunities here. When I say great opportunities, I do have some things underneath of my belt, but I realized, you know what, that was not the world I wanted to live in. I got a peek of it. There were dark places, and I was like, no, I love me and I love God more. That's not what I want to do.
Girl. That is literally my experience. That is literally my experience. I went to some famous producers' houses, and they were like, I went there to like, you know, try to get a record deal. Went there, and it was so like my core was like, this, I can't do this. There are other people that they're like, they would do it because they want to succeed in the music industry, and they would do it. I was like, I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't do it. That is not my personality. And I would not show up. I would not go back again. I would not go back again. You know, I was very close to getting a deal on Madonna's label. Like, and that, the person I was working with that, and he was doing he did now I'm blanking with the terminology is, there's a 3-letter terminology for it that I was just like, didn't, because I was just like, I was not going to do that. And so I just like, I was like, there's so many times I could have like just said, you know what, Kat, just do it. You want to do this for a living, just do it. But I didn't. And I was just like, I'm not going to, that's not how I roll. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was just like, it's really wild that you say that, because, so then did you do a profession? Did you do like gigging and stuff? I did gigging. She's doing her lot. She's bringing somebody up. Hi, whoever the young lady is. Hello, hello. Just so you know, it's going to YouTube after like it allows me to, it goes up to YouTube. So, somebody might say, hey, I saw you in that video. I saw you in that interview.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Does anyone else have any questions for Zoe? Because I will queue them up, and then when she's available, I will ask her. Anyone else have any questions?
I'm coming. 1 second.
And for me, with Milk and Honey, we did our gigs. That was like, I think, my first taste to doing professional. And then when I moved to San Francisco, I had just started playing guitar, and I did an open mic. And the person that was doing Hotel Utah was like, can you do a residence there? I've been playing guitar for maybe 2 weeks. It was crazy. So I was like, I need to get a band. So then I played there regularly, and I've had different musicians backing me. With Milk and Honey, we've done like, we did a backup singing for some people that were like on the radio and all of that. So I have done that. And but what I was doing when I had kids, I was doing audiobooks. I wanted to do song to audiobook. And so I still have that kind of in my arsenal. So, I've written children's songs, and so I've been doing that also. And I was doing children's audiobook, and I was working on that. So I don't know, that may be something that I revisit and start doing that again, because I would love to do that. But all of that. So then were you doing the whole, and I was even in my kids' operas. I did 1 year where I was like the Wicked Witch, and I did an operatic song, and then I did like a kind of like a soulful rock and roll song in it. So I absolutely love performing. I love performing. So did you do professionally? Because I know you're talking about all of the things. So you were gigging and all of that. That's why I say that our life experience is very, very, very similar. It's a trip. It's a trip. That's all I gotta say. It's a trip. No one else is like, does anybody have any questions? Because I know Zoe's, her store is open. So I want to give you the opportunity to ask her.
I'm here. No one's, I've already took care of them. So we can,
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was great opportunities. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes you have to reevaluate things and look at things, and you're like, no, it's not for me. Like, I have lots of entertainers, customers, and just having those conversations with them and listening to them. And, when we talk, and it's just like, because people will use you because it's beneficial for them. And when you're no longer beneficial for them, they will throw you out to the wolves. So you have to have that discernment to make that choice. That's something that I want to continue to be in, or I'm going to decide, what is going to be best for me.
Because you have to, I think there's a lot of people, a lot of people don't have like their root system as far as their mentality. They don't have a strong system. And so when something like that happens for them, if they become successful at it, sometimes it leads down a very dark road. And people that like don't have that, it can be very negative. And I don't know that I had that strong root system. I think that I had, I was getting there. But I don't know that I had that strong enough root system, because I'm a yes person. So it's like, I'm going to be like, I'm people pleaser, you know, and so it's like, and it, you know, in many times in life, it's come to bite me, you know, and so it's like with that industry, it was just like, okay, somebody tell me that something happened. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I knew that person, like I knew,
I,
I had a vibe about it. I
people,
had a vibe about it. I'm glad I listened to myself, you know?
yeah, yeah. LA can make you or break you. Hollywood is called La La Land for a reason. And a lot of times, and you know, I was fascinated with Hollywood because I saw it on TV. So that's why I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm coming here to be a star. But no, when I got here, I was like, oh, hell no. This ain't. Mm. I have never had a taste of
That was
liquor.
Anna.
Don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even tried it.
Wow.
Never ever have had a taste of liquor in 51 years of my life. Now I have tried a joint or two in my life, but I've never picked up a bottle. I do not do it. Don't believe in it. No, I don't knock
Yeah,
people.
well, you know, because you'll see me with my sangria. I love sangria, my sake, my but I don't do the I don't really do anything to excess. I don't do anything. Well, I don't do anything to excess. I have like
Mhm.
that kind of like lever that comes down, and that's just my personality. I'm like, and there are people that they are excessive personalities, and it's like they're kind of like upset, not obsessed. Their personalities. They're going to take everything to the
Mhm.
limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get clowned about tell them about when I was in San Francisco. My friends, they're like, "Girl, why do you think we always have money and endless, you know, endless? Why do you think we always got it? Why everybody come to our house and we always got money? Let me show you." And I'm just like, so naive. I was like,
Hmm.
I had no idea. Up in your attic space, you
You
have
had all that.
plants all up there. And I tried it. I had a crazy spinner. I said, "Girl, I am my real existence. I'm on Haight Street. I'm homeless on Haight Street."
Hmm.
I was like, I was tripping. But it's like, it's a very relaxing, and, you know, they see the medicinal purposes for
Hmm.
them. So it's just like, it's not just a recreational thing too. It's like, it's a medicinal for, it can help a lot of people's health problems. So it's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear about somebody going on a like spree after they
No.
smoked a little something. You don't see it, but hear about, oh, I did a little something. Now I'm gonna go and do this. You know, you don't hear about that. So it's like, it all
Yeah.
makes sense now, girl. See, that's what keeps clowning me. Angel, she keeps clowning me. Don't, cause she tell everybody, yeah, my tumbleweed story, cause I share too much. I'm overshare too. So it's just like, okay,
Hey,
all right.
being your authentic self, and that's just who you are.
And I try. Like people are just like, you know, you're not entertainment for people. You know, you go there to sell, but it's just part of my personality to like have fun with it and just like do all of these things. It's part of my personality. So it's just like I try not to be so over the top.
Hmm.
I'm just like, oh, it's just my personality. And it's just like, but you like all have all of this like bigger than life personality, but you still seem very
Oh yeah.
mellow. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's a trip because you are so like, oh my gosh, but you're still very mellow. So it's like, it's a very cool thing.
Balance it out. Because
Yeah.
I'm the life of the party. You know, I tell people I don't need any liquor. I'm not if I do something to you and you pop me off, I can't say it was the weed. I can't say I'm gonna pop off because you done made me pop off. You know, when I love to I can go and party by myself. I go to
Hmm.
concerts by myself. I
Hmm.
might meet somebody there, but I don't need nobody to go with me anywhere. I travel the world by myself. I'm
Hmm.
a person because I'm going to meet somebody that I'm going to build a relationship and we're going to hang out and have a good time. I'm the life of the party.
She's am I Zoe 2.0 or am I Zoe 2.0? Is she Cat 2.0? Because seriously, I'm just like, I just hearing all this like mirroring and this like, this is why why I'm so blessed to be able to do this. And I would like this to be like, I want this, like this, my vision is for this to take off. I want to interview people. I want to travel and interview people. I want to do all of that. That is what I want to do as part of not my
Uh-huh.
everything, but as a huge part of of what I do when I put out into the world,
Hmm.
because I love having you sit there and tell them about this very, very rich history that you have, and letting them know that you can be the start of your history becoming like that. You can start yours where her great grandparents, how they started off and what they saw as a vision of what their lives to be. you can make that be your root for future generations.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you create your own story. All of us are on a journey. And you know what? So the story has already been written for us. We're just walking through it. You know, you're going to have some bumps. You know, without a test, you will not have a testimony. You know, we come out of our mother's womb, we got to crawl before we walk. You're going to go through something to get through something to be back to be like, dang, I get it. You know, you remember growing up as a kid, your grandma or your parents say, don't touch that, it's going to burn you. Don't put your hand on that fire. But you like, okay. And as soon as they walk away, you're going to touch it. You're going to get burned. You're going to start screaming. They're going to say, didn't I tell you not to touch that? Because sometimes someone can tell you don't do that, but you're so curious, you want to try to find out and see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and there are some things that you should for your own physical and mental well-being, you should just stay away from. But there are some things that because that experience was essential for your growth. And I think that everything that I go through, whether positive or negative, on this platform or in life, are part. I see life as this journey of wisdom. And once you learn about something and once you grow as a person, you need to embrace that and take what makes you a better person and become wiser. You know, I'm not of the school of, well, we did this. You know, I've always been like this. Oh, there was always a thing. Well, we had no harm from it. I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, your root system, we all start off with this root system that we inherited from our parents and our grandparents, this root system. But our experiences of life change how our branches flourish as we go through life. And I'm like, your root system, because you did that, your root system, that branch right there, that you're dealing with that stuff right now, that came from that. I didn't have that same experience, that we have the same root system, and mine is going this way. So it's just, it's seeing those things and taking that wisdom and learning from it and being like a blessing for others, because some of your wisdom, you know,
you can't.
My kids sometimes finally they say, oh, mom, dad know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and you know, you can't take everybody with you. You know, sometimes when you begin to grow and even expand, not everybody's going to go on that journey. And not you know, everything happens for a reason, even if it's just for a season. It is a lesson to be learned. Not all those associates that I thought were my friends were really my friends. They were people that were borrowing time, but also gave me something to learn from, so that now I'm aware of when the next come around, I'm going to be watching you. I got one eye open and one eye closed, because now I know your interest for me wasn't that really beneficial. It was good for you that you can ride my coattail. But now that you can't, I'm no good for you. You don't need to be around me anymore.
Well, you know what? There is a time when you're like, if it's not the things that you give out, you give so much of yourself, but there's no reciprocation. And even some of the stuff that you have given out has been turned on you. Then when it's that, you need to just say, this is not healthy. And like, I will stew because I want to work it out. So I like will go on and on and on, because with anybody, like, because I want to work it out, I will go on and on because I want to like change it around. But sometimes you just can't do it. And you just have to say, you know what, this is not healthy for me. You know, whatever relationship it is, it's not healthy for me. And I just need to move on. I don't wish you ill will, but I just need to move on. And I need to keep being my authentic self and keep like living life to the best I can. And it's like, Josh is very like, he knows me and he can like read me. We've been together for over 20 years and he reads me and he like knows. He knows what like bounces onto me and sticks. And he'll say, I see this. I'm worried about this. And he's right all the time. But I'm just like, and I'll give benefit of the doubt over and over and over, because that's the person I am. And then finally it's just like, you know, it turns into being what it is. And so it's like, those are things that you and I both can like, that's a wisdom that is learned from our life experience. And it's like needed to be said. So if anybody's experiencing that right now, they need to say, it's okay. sometimes you can walk away. And you're not giving up. It's not giving up, but you're doing self-preservation, and you're like taking care of yourself, which is equally important, if not more important, because you have to live in this body, in this mind, in this experience that's yours. Even though ours is very similar, you have your own like journey that you're doing, right? And I wanted to echo like because Angel was talking about they did a couple comments with Jamila and about the how we're a village and that no one's really alone, no one's alone, and I think that is true. And I don't know how you how important you feel like the Instagram village is, because I really like I do see like I'm the woman that's going to run across the room, somebody else's kid's about to fall, I'm going to go catch the kid. My kid was about to fall. I didn't even realize. That's the kind of village person I'm in. And it used to be like that even more so. But how important do you like, as far as like the Instagram community, being a strong, like village-minded person is to you?
I think it's important. I am not a part of any clique. I think that at the end of the day, we're really all the same. But I think it is beautiful to see so many women. Like I look at the lives, like I said, the lives that you do. I look at the live that Pink Stone Minerals do with the other women. I think it's beautiful. What is it? Charlene, another lady. There are so many amazing women on here that we can learn from each other. But it's beautiful that we can all be like, bam, let's do this together. There is enough that we all can do. I may not sell the beautiful gems and stones that Pink Stone Mineral has, but I'm sure that I have something that maybe we can have a conversation with and show if she has a live. I see you, and I see that you open up your door on a regular basis to so many women. I mean, I see you're like, hey, I got this going on. You got about 4 or 5 different, and you're going on and on selling with them. Like I said, I love that. I think it's important. I mean, because if we're not a community, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of even being on here? Just to say I'm making money? It's not always about money. If you can leave here and leave someone with something for them to think about and reanalyze themselves on things that they're doing or what they need to do, and realize like, hey, I could do it too. Why not?
Yeah. There's sometimes, well, I think there's definitely something else I'm getting from it, because sometimes it's not fruitful, but there's something else that I'm getting from it. And so it's like, and a lot of times it may be to just introduce my buyers to that seller, and my buyers will go and they will shop. They will meet somebody through my live and they will go and they will shop, and they will become a regular buyer of theirs. And it's really, really important. And then I meet new people, and people are like, how come I didn't know about you? I'm like, girl, I'm on all the time. I don't know how you don't know. I don't know how you don't know, because I'm here, but it's a big world, small world. And once you meet people, it can become a very, very warm, all in all, a very warm community. And it's like it's so many people, but it just seems like we're such a small village. And hello, that is so, it just amazes me. It just amazes me that it's like that. That life is like that, and you can, like, once you meet these people, it could be so instrumental.
Yes. Yeah. And it's life be lifing, and sometimes we also have to self-care, really, because if you're not right, nothing's gonna be right. I can sit here and come and tell you guys till I'm black and blue, but if I am mentally and spiritually not where I need to be, I'm just wasting your time, just like I'm wasting mine.
Yeah. If I get my 3 hours on Sunday, that's my only day off. I get my 3 hours on Sunday for my self-care, and I still post about it, but because it's really important that we do that, even if it is a few hours. But I also, when Josh and I are going walking, I'm doing walking meditation as I'm doing it. So I'm like doing that in the mornings while the weather's permitting. That's just a very, very cool thing. I really like your voice of reason for some, the IG getting tense and messy. Girl, sometimes I'm like, babe, someone's coming at me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, I can't, we can't, like, house ourselves in that, and like it can get messy. And when Zoe mentions clicks, there are clicks. It's like is this high school? You know, but one thing that for me wasn't as a deal breaker for me is once somebody starts putting me down as a person and putting me down my approach and like making me out to be something, that's when I'm like, okay, the switch goes off. And it's very hard for that switch to go back on for me because I don't, no matter how much of an issue I have with people, and I've had issues with people, I don't go after them, their personality. I don't go after them as a person. I don't do that. And so I don't appreciate it. So it's like that for me, that becomes a light bulb when I'm just like, I'm like, you know, you can't call me passive because I'm not passive aggressive because you read it in my face and I am very, very like, I will like explain things over and over and over because it's important for my messaging that I like, you understand the kind of person that I am. And like, I'm not that kind of person. People are just like, when I'm like, whatever, people are like, are you okay? You know, it's like, if I'm mellow, people are like, you okay? But I just like had things said to me on lives. I've had all these like that. I've had messaging from people that where I'm just like, where I really am giving all of myself to them over and over and over, giving myself to them. And it's not just one person. Over and over myself to them where really nothing really is coming back to me. Nothing's really coming back to me. And Josh is like, babe, you can't keep doing that. And so it's like, I will give as long as like there's a mutual respect between us. I will give because that's the kind of person I am. But if it turns where it becomes negative toward me, I can't do it. I've started to like, I'm putting my foot down with myself. Like I've started only doing that recently. I ain't no spring chicken, but I'm just like, Kat, you can't because you're going to house it. And it manifests myself, it manifests in me physically. Like I get sick from it. I already deal with the autoimmune thing, so I can't do it. And it's like, I don't need to give specifics. I don't need to do a post about somebody. I don't need to do all that. All I need to do is just walk away and wish them the best because I don't wish ill will, but just say, you know what? I'll just have to move on.
Yeah. Honey. Yeah, you're good. I don't have time for the foolery. You don't send me no messages. Just like I tell people, I'm not going to look for nobody to pay me. If you ain't sent me no message, or if I send them, I'm not going to do all that. If you said or did anything wrong, I'm not going to put it on the internet. I just don't fool. You know, I just don't. I had a situation just recently, and the post office lost the package. I called them, but it's funny when they start telling you that you need to file a claim, they gonna find a way to find that damn package because they ain't trying to give up that money. So I tells the customer, I say, ma'am, you know, I think that the package is lost. I've called them. You know, first she said she wanted a credit, then she turned around, she said, oh, I want a refund. No problem. Now, I have a problem when you call PayPal. If we already then had a conversation and you know, I said, I'm going to refund you. PayPal to be sending me any kind of messages. And then the package arrives. You get the package. And then you tell me, oh, I'm a godly woman. Yeah, you are a godly woman. We all make mistakes. So now what are we going to do about it?
The thing about it is, saying you're a godly woman, for me, most of the time, you are your actions.
Everybody.
People are going to know the kind of person you are by your actions.
Yeah.
Because when people say, I'm just I've had people in my life so many times say, I'm such a giver. I'm such a giver. But I've never seen you give.
Yeah.
I've seen you take, but I've never seen you give. And you say that your actions dictate it. So living in action with what you want to be is important. You're probably like, you're a godly woman. Okay, well.
See, the thing of it is if I make a mistake, I'll just refund you your money. I'm not back and forth. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to refund your money and take it as a loss. Period. Point. And like she said, we can't please everybody. But I don't go back and forth. I don't do none of that. I'm not going to do none of that. I am not in no competition with no young people. I don't have time to compete with you. I got better things to be doing instead of thinking that I'm trying.
Yeah. And that
No.
that comes from wisdom. That comes from wisdom. And it's just like, I know Mila, I know who I am. I know who I am. I've housed myself in who I am. I'm still a work in progress, but I know who I am. So it's just like, and I will forever be a work in progress, and I'll never sound perfect. And I always say my bad. And people be like, but I paid for that. And I'm just like, oh, my bad. And then I make a mistake and I'm like, okay, I'll send you a free gift, or you want credit, or you want credit on file, you want a refund. Will do whatever will make my customer happy. I will do that. And so it's just like, I'm just going to like, cause I had someone tell me, oh, something wasn't in their package. I was like, cause I remember packing it in there. And I said, well, do me a favor, check again, because this is what Josh does. And they found it. So it's just like, I didn't like immediately be like, what are you talking about? Get all defensive. I'm just like, okay, let's solve this together. If it's not in there, I'm going to make it right. So I'm going to look for it, see if it's here, because sometimes it is, and just go like that, because that's, we're all fallible human beings, and it's just what you take with that. It's what you take and you decide to do with it. So I really could talk forever, but I have a live at 1:10 on Whatnot, a show.
Yeah.
And I got to eat before that. But I seriously because I've been looking for it, because I'm throwing out there, it doesn't necessarily need to be you, but if you ever, I want to do kind of like a collaborative, interview series, or a podcast. So
Well, it's funny that
anybody
you're
that's
saying
interested in doing it, that would be amazing, because I would love to have a podcast, a regular podcast, whether it's like a Saturday night or like Friday night podcast, and do that with someone. So, oh my gosh.
Because I am fascinated with interviewing people that walk through my door. Everyone that walks through my door, I interview them. So that is one of the things that we have been talking about in 2024, to actually have a camera put in here, and I put it, because when I say I have met so many phenomenal people that have walked through the door, that I'm like, Molly Sheen, you name it. And we get to have these conversations, even having the opportunity to talk with Betsy Johnson. That is a icon, to be in my store, and for her to be like, you have a great eye, that makes you be like, damn. So what I'm actually doing, I don't care what everybody else says, but this woman is a legend. And to see,
oh my gosh, yes.
So, and just also having some of the most amazing customers that people continuously come, they support, they show love. I show love. I have to show you guys one of my babies. She's only 3 years old, right? And oh my God, where is my picture? So I am truly about my community. Oh my God, don't tell me I lost my photo. Oh my goodness, I cannot find it. However, I gotta look for it. But one of my babies, she's only 3, and she colored a picture of the mermaid, and she gave it to me. And she told me, how she's only 3 years old, and they told me how much they really appreciate me, her and her parents. Those are the things that really mean a lot to me, of people realizing, like, she's a good person, like she means well for this community.
I know.
And I love
so
these kids. These kids come through my door. I can't make it to all their events, but I always have some kind of treats for the kids, because I was a child once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? And for someone to make you feel like, hey, they like me, that makes my day. So so I'm actually going to frame that photo. It's somewhere around here. But those are the things that I love. Also, I tell anybody, educate yourself. Some people never knew that Lane Bryant been around since 1904. Lane Bryant's been around since 1904. Okay, so when you get to learn about certain companies and how they begin to cater to plus size women, or really learn about the vintage history of when was it that they had pieces that was going to cater to a curvy woman like
Yeah.
us, like me, So whatever industry you plan to go on, if it's just thrifting, if it's vintage, if you're going to be a vintage connoisseur, know your shit. So that when someone approaches you, you're able to break it down of why you are charging them the price that you are charging them.
Yeah.
Decade has been around for decades. The way we were has been around for decades, for years. But they know what they have. So know what you have, because trust me, they are gems in these thrift stores. They're not gems like they used to be, lots of gems back in the day, but they're gems because everybody's in this industry now.
Yeah.
Every young person, Y2K and you name it, they're selling vintage. And to them, Y2K is vintage. In reality, that's not really vintage. You talk about vintage, we're talking about 20, 30, 40s, and 50 textile. The way the
Like
silhouette of
true
when a woman,
vintage, true vintage,
yeah,
true
when a
vintage.
woman walks in, you see her silhouette from a beautiful 1960s dress or 50s, knowing what you have. I leave you with that. Don't come on here and you don't know what you have, and then you get mad if someone buys it from you for $20 and they turn around and sell it for $300. But because you did not know what you had, and they did. There is a situation right now where two older an older couple, they sold a picture for $150. The auction house sold that picture for $4.5 million.
Oh, yeah. That's wild. That's like generations of wealth. That's what
They're
I think
suing
about.
that auction house right now because they knew. And that's why I say it's important for you to know. I bought a necklace for $50. A, a necklace at a flea market. And I sold that necklace for $20,000.
Oh, wow. Uh, hello.
Hello. So I say that is when you go out, do your research before you come on here and say, let me go and sell it. Because you never know what you're sitting on.
Like, well, there's things that I just know,
Yeah.
and then there's things I don't know. And then some of my buyers are like, but Kat, you should probably pull that
Yeah.
aside.
Yeah.
And so I'm a student, and so it's really important. Some of these times you may make a mistake, or you might think something's more valuable than it is, and it's not, and there's just not a market for it. But it's just, there are some things to do it. But because we can keep talking about probably really, I want to, like, I feel so bad,
I
but
love
I
it.
want to, there might have to be a 2.0. But I want to just thank you so much for coming on, for spending time with me, from sharing your wisdom. I really, I adore you. I think you're a wonderful
Thank
woman.
you. Thank you.
And I encourage everyone to follow this lovely lady. I'm going to visit you. I will be coming out there. I'm going to visit you. We'll figure out something. But make sure that you hit up her store when you go out to California. And now just you can DM her, let her know. If you have any, like, you're kind of wondering the area, any of that. You guys, thank you for the follow, and a quick little shout out. If you want to, like I said, I want this to become like my regular gig. So if you want to become a patron, you can become a patron, whether it is weekly, monthly, yearly. You can do all of that. I have different levels. I'm going to put it in the post, but you could be platinum, gold,
So you have your
silver,
picture.
or yeah, you can be like you can do that. And so I'll have that in the thing, because I would love this to become part of what I do, Conversation with Stray Cat Style. So if you want to do that, I would really appreciate it. And guys, I'll be coming, I'm not sure what my next interview is lined up, but I'll let you guys know about a week before. Thank you. This will be up on YouTube as long as Instagram settles it down. It will be added to YouTube. And I want to say thank you to everyone that came in and out and commented, that asked questions, all of that good stuff. We really do appreciate you. We appreciate the village. Did you want to say something?
I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come on here. Like I said, you're one of the hardest working women I know. Hell, every time I see you, you're leaving here now. You're getting ready to go to On Whatnot, which I'm happy you're on there, because I haven't even got on there yet. I keep saying they actually found me, but I'm going to eventually. Keep up
Yeah.
the great work. that beautiful smile, the
Yeah.
bubbly woman that I see, full of life. Always know who you are. Always value yourself. Don't worry about what these people say out here, because you know what? At the end of the day, you create the magic that keeps you going.
Oh,
So you have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you to each and every
I
one of
will.
you ladies. I appreciate you guys coming on. Eventually, one day, me and Pink Stone Minerals, we're going to meet up somewhere at one of these flea markets. I'm going to catch you out there in the
I know.
wilderness.
I met up with her. It was so fun. It was so fun. It was
Bring
very
that
short,
up.
but I met her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, you guys, thank you again. Yeah, and you know, connecting in real life, you know, like you know, this is great. Connecting person to person, that's a great thing too. So you know, I encourage people to do it as you are able to. Okay. So much love to everyone.
All right.
Mwah. I always say full heart, guys, and
Bye.
I will see you guys soon. Okay. Bye bye. Thanks, Zoe.